using the cell phones of other people and other inmates. This was his plan. All of this was found in his cell, that he wanted to sit there and find dirt on people and intimidate and come for these witnesses.
It seems the tables have turned for music mogul Shaw Diddy Combs, who's now facing more than just legal trouble after being taken into custody. Shocking reports have emerged that Diddy may have contracted a severe illness while behind bars.
Tragic, but he better be watching his ass literally in prison, because those type of stories,
he probably doesn't want to.
He probably doesn't want.
Allegedly, insiders claim that the unsanitary conditions of his holding environment, coupled with his alleged pre-existing health concerns, could have made him an easy target for a fast-spreading infection.
His life, his safety is in jeopardy in any correctional lockup right now. If it is true, as reported, that he is housed in the special housing unit, it's important to note that the special housing unit is a lockdown, 24-hour lockdown unit.
While authorities have remained tight-lipped about the exact details, whispers from those close to the situation are raising serious alarms. Could this be the wake-up call Did he never anticipated?
Allegedly refusing to leave his jail cell at the moment to avoid SA laws.
With his doomed reputation and connections now powerless to protect him from the realities of jail life, the stakes couldn't be higher. Fans and critics alike are waiting to see how this shocking twist unfolds in the ongoing saga of Diddy's dramatic downfall. Sean Combs, the music mogul who turned luxury into his personal brand, now finds himself in a starkly different reality. The MDC detention center in New York, where he's awaiting trial, is worlds apart from the opulence he's known for. And let's be honest, this isn't a reality show, and there's no glamour in being stuck in it over the holidays.
MDC is, I've used the word austere a lot, but it is. It's austere, it's strict, it's impersonal, it's cold. And it is a very tough place to be detained.
While fans are used to seeing Diddy dripping in diamonds, throwing extravagant parties, or lounging on private yachts, his current accommodations are less than 5-star. MDC, infamous for its harsh living conditions, has been described by prison experts as a grueling experience. It's plastic, and it's almost like a big pillow. But over the years, it has shrunk. It's a bunch of crap that probably was purchased because it was out of date, because the prison system sells you out of stuff, and they're trying to act like they're doing the inmates a favor. These were the words prison expert Larry Levine said about the so-called holiday sack inmates received. And no, there's no caviar or champagne in sight, just stale out of commissary items.
Will be locked in the cell 23 hours a day with 1 hour recreation in a fenced-in area where I would certainly expect for him to be recreating alone.
The food situation alone is bleak, with rumor swirling that Diddy may have been skipping meals entirely. Why? Well, some suggest paranoia about being poisoned. An insider spilled the beans, saying he gets a lot of people in trouble. People want to eliminate him. So what if somebody on the outside knew someone that had a relative that worked in the prison, and they put something in his food a little bit at a time? Then he gets contaminated, whatever it is. And it's early checkout for Mr. Puff Daddy. They eliminate him. That's another reason, another theory as to why he wasn't eating. He was afraid the food was contaminated. Imagine having to worry that every bite could be your last, not because of luxury calories, but because someone might be literally trying to take you out if the conditions weren't bad enough. Whispers about Diddy's health are adding fuel to the fire. Sources claim he's battling an illness, with some suggesting it's not being properly treated in the facility. Others hint at something more salacious, even as in nature. Whatever the truth may be, one thing is clear. The MDC isn't equipped to provide the kind of high-end health care Diddy is used to, with his reportedly astonishingly thinner appearance during his last court appearance. It's hard not to speculate. Is it the stress, the food, the illness, or all of the above? Diddy has officially hit rock bottom over the holidays. According to reports, he suffered a full-blown meltdown at MDC, unable to believe he was still stuck there months after his arrest, despite his high-powered legal team holidays. Usually a time of celebration for him turned into a nightmare as he grappled with the reality of his situation. An insider revealed that spending holidays in jail seems to have pushed Diddy over the edge with his high-powered legal team. Diddy thought he'd be out on bail by now. Spending the holidays behind bars was a nightmare for him. He eventually managed to calm himself down with the meditation technique he's been using while he's been behind bars. It took him a few hours of deep breathing and focusing to get out of the bad space he was in, but he finally managed it. Combs is reportedly stalling legal proceedings by refusing to leave his jail cell to accept service of multiple lawsuits. The Bad Boy Records founder is currently in custody, awaiting trial on ST charges.
He's refusing to leave his cell after he hears, for the first time in life, N.O. jailhouse guards saying no to his.
Talking about lawsuits, Sean Combs' legal troubles are escalating in ways no one could have predicted. Already mired in a storm of allegations, a fresh lawsuit filed by Michigan inmate Derek Lee Cardello Smith has dragged Diddy back into the spotlight, this time with accusations dating back to 1990. 7. What's more, Jennifer Lopez, Diddy's ex-girlfriend, has been named as a potential witness in this explosive $400 million lawsuit. Smith, who is currently serving time for unrelated convictions, claims he met Diddy while bartending at a Detroit hotel. According to the lawsuit, Diddy invited him to a private party where he offered Smith a drink laced with an unknown substance. Smith alleges he blacked out and later woke up to find Diddy engaging in with a woman, only to hear the chilling words, "I did this to you."
Filed a motion for a temporary restraining order and/or a preliminary injunction to stop all sales of the property and assets attached to or involved with said property.
Adding another layer of intrigue, Smith claims Jennifer Lopez was privy to Diddy's alleged criminal behavior, including his possession of a videotaped essay involving Smith. He alleges that Diddy manipulated Lopez into silence by threatening her career and personal safety, while Jennifer Lopez has never been implicated in any criminal activity tied to Diddy. Her name surfacing in court documents has reignited scrutiny of her association with the rapper. Smith contends that Lopez's testimony could expose Diddy's broader pattern of manipulation, exploitation, and alleged criminality.
The government said that they interviewed over 50 witnesses and victims. But there is one name on that celebrity list that is standing out in particular right now: Jennifer Lopez.
Lopez's representatives have yet to comment on the allegations, and it remains unclear whether she will be compelled to testify. However, this isn't the first time her relationship with Diddy has come under the microscope. The infamous 1999 nightclub shooting, though ultimately clearing Lopez of any wrongdoing, it still lingers as a controversial chapter in her career. Diddy's legal team has fiercely denied the allegations, labeling Smith a serial fabricator with a history of concocting wild stories for personal gain. They are working aggressively to have the case dismissed, arguing that Smith's claims lack substance and are rooted in a vendetta against the rapper. This is a frivolous lawsuit against a prominent businessman based on obvious fabrications filed by a convicted rapist and serial litigant with an overactive imagination and a thirst for fame. The allegedly occurred in June 1997. Any claim Derek Lee might have had expired in June 2000, more than 2 decades before he commenced this litigation. For this reason alone, the court should dismiss the complaint in its entirety, with prejudice. The legal drama surrounding Sean Combs continues to spiral, with his defense team now leaning heavily on the controversial freak-off tapes to clear his name collected by law enforcement. These tapes allegedly capture the music mogul's infamous parties, which prosecutors claim were fronts for elaborate but Diddy's lawyers insist these tapes tell a very different story. According to them, the footage proves that the activities were consensual and entirely legal. They argue that the tape showcased private moments between consenting adults, refuting claims of coercion, teasing, or violence. The allegations, however, paint a far darker picture. Federal prosecutors describe Diddy's freak-offs as orchestrated and exploitative, involving days-long sessions with commercial workers and elaborate performances, some of which allegedly cross state lines. Well, it doesn't really matter. At this point, Because this deny defense is not really helping Diddy at all.
There are going to be a lot of other women as well, and men. And I think the volume is going to be very difficult for him to overcome.
At the center of this firestorm is Diddy's ex-girlfriend, Cassie, identified as Victim 1 in court documents. Although she settled a multi-million-dollar lawsuit against him in 2023, accusing him of A&R, her name now resurfaces as pivotal evidence. Diddy's legal team claims Cassie voluntarily kept the tapes and provided them to law enforcement, framing her as a cooperative party rather than a victim. The main star witness for the prosecution is Cassie, his ex-girlfriend, who he beat horribly at the Century Plaza Hotel. But Cassie's involvement raises eyebrows according to prosecutors. The tapes reveal more than just consensual intimacy. The federal indictment alleges these events often involved underage individuals and secret recordings. Charges Diddy's team fiercely denies. There are no secret cameras, no orgies, no other celebrities involved, no underground tunnels, no minors, and not so much as a hint of coercion or violence. According to the documents, there is certainly no evidence of ST. Prosecutors argue that Diddy wielded his business empire as a tool for exploitation, leveraging power, wealth, and connections to orchestrate a pattern of yet. His lawyers remain adamant that these tapes show no minors, no coercion, and no signs of. Clearly, this is a rehearsed response, because many experts predicted earlier on.
One of the things that's very clear is that they're going to argue that a lot of this was consensual. They're going to argue that the freak-offs were consensual, that the drug use was consensual.
As the legal battle rages on, Peacock's new documentary, Diddy, The Making of a Bad Boy, premieres, shedding light on the mogul's troubled upbringing. Childhood friend Tim "Dog" Patteron reveals disturbing details of the environment Did he grew up in. Weekend parties filled with D's alcohol and adults engaged in explicit acts. Patterson claimed on the weekend Combs partied in the house, and we did that a lot. He was around all types of alcohol. He was around reefer smoked addicts, around lesbians, around homos. He was around pimps, pushers. That was just who was in our house. People that attended the parties were from Harlem, from the streets. You'd walk into a room and you'd see couples, but naked. It was desensitizing, but it was just Saturday night. The documentary Country doesn't hold back with former associates hinting at a pattern of behavior that allegedly began in Diddy's youth and carried into his adulthood. One chilling claim even suggests Diddy's parties involved underage girls being escorted into private rooms. I've been with Sean for quite a while, he said, and I've captured a lot of moments anytime a studio or any room is red. He's making love, and as some of the girls who were in the room for sure they were underage. Diddy's legal team continues to push the narrative that he's a victim of a smear campaign, emphasizing that the tapes prove consensual behavior rather than criminal activity. Yet the mounting allegations, combined with the explosive revelations in the Peacock documentary, paint a deeply complicated and controversial picture.
Am I gonna get in trouble? I don't want to say I witnessed any of that crazy stuff, but we all have common sense. Little people that's not supposed to be there.
You're talking about underage people.
It's a shame.
Will these tapes vindicate Diddy? Or will they become the smoking gun that brings his empire crashing down as the trial looms? One thing is certain, this case will be anything but straightforward. Sean Combs, once revered as a kingpin of music and nightlife, now stands at the center of a storm that could shake Hollywood to its core. Yet a deafening silence cloaks the celebrity world, a silence that speaks volumes.
Silence is deafening, especially from longtime associates of Diddy.
From former girlfriend Jennifer Lopez to close friends like Ashton Kutcher Yees and Naomi Campbell. Not one of Diddy's high-profile connections has dared to denounce him publicly. Even Leonardo DiCaprio, known for frequenting Diddy's infamous parties, and the Kardashians' fixtures in Hollywood's social elite have stayed idly quiet. Justin Bieber, Diddy's mentee, who spent formative years under his influence, has also remained tight-lipped, as has an overwhelming majority of the music and entertainment industry.
There are a lot of people in Hollywood who are probably worried about which Diddy parties they were at and what was going on.
As accusations against Diddy mount with claims ranging from Saw to racketeering, and ST experts reveal that many stars are terrified of being implicated by association, according to Eric Schiffer, CEO of Reputation Management Consultants. This silence isn't just caution, it's self-preservation. Celebrities are silent because they're scared to death of their brands bleeding out with fans over ties to Diddy, Schiffer explained. And worse, they fear if they cross him, things could end in disaster. The severity of the charges, detailed allegations in the federal indictment, and the long-standing whispers about Diddy's behavior have left even Hollywood's boldest personalities unwilling to risk their careers or safety. Doug Elridge, founder of Achilles PR, suggests that the roots of his silence run deep. Diddy's famed parties, described as opulent and extravagant, were also the stuff of dark rumors frequented by A-listers. They become a symbol of excess and controversy. But with Diddy's arrest and the shocking accusations tied to these gatherings, those who once mingled under his roof are now desperate to separate themselves from him. For celebrities, the stakes couldn't be higher. Any misstep, an ill-timed statement, a connection unearthed could tie them to allegations dating back to the early 2000s. And with Diddy's reputation for wielding influence and power to evade consequences, the risks are all too real. Rodney Lil Rod Jones, who worked with Diddy on the Love album, painted a chilling picture of the mogul's influence after filing a $30 million lawsuit against Diddy for alleged essay and threats. Jones broke his silence in Rolling Stone. He told me himself, "I'll smack my mama. Anybody who can say that, even jokingly, is a monster." Jones revealed, for someone whose brand is Love Records, he doesn't show love. He's nothing to be played with. This fear of retaliation, coupled with Diddy's history of controlling narratives, has left Hollywood's elite frozen in place. The question isn't just what Diddy might do, it's what they might risk revealing about themselves if they speak out as Diddy's legal battles unfold. His former allies remain conspicuously absent from the conversation. Their silence may protect their brands for now, but it also raises a damning question. What secrets are they so desperate to keep hidden for Hollywood? The silence isn't just complicity, it's survival, and for Diddy, it's the last fragile thread of a reputation hanging by a thread. Diddy Combs is still wearing down the barrel of a legal nightmare that could ensure he never sets foot outside a prison cell again. The disgraced hip-hop mogul faces a string of federal charges so severe that conviction would almost certainly see him spend the rest of his life behind bars. Diddy has been hit with one count of racketeering conspiracy, which alone carries the possibility of life imprisonment. Adding to his legal woes, he's also charged with one count of ST by force, fraud, or coercion, a crime with a mandatory minimum sentence of 15 years and a maximum of life in prison. If that weren't damning enough, the transportation for purposes of P-charge tax on another potential 10 years, according to CNN legal analyst and former prosecutor Ellie Hannig. The ST by force, fraud, or coercion charge is the most critical, described as an extraordinarily serious charge. Honig pointed out that because this is a federal case, not a state prosecution, the penalties and potential sentences are significantly harsher. To make matters worse for Combs, these criminal charges are just one part of the storm brewing against him. In addition to facing life in prison, Diddy is entangled in multiple civil suits from women accusing him of Saw. His ex-girlfriend Cassie filed a lawsuit against him of R, which was settled in November 2023, and graphic footage from 2016 surfaced earlier this year showing him physically aiding her in a hotel. If convicted on all charges, the music mogul empire will crumble entirely, and for Shaw comes the reality is stark. The only stage he'll ever see again will be one behind prison walls.